I'm Kathy Deal, Partner Success Manager with CyberCompass. We recently had a discussion with Matt Peters and Andrew Bishop of Customer First Communications. I was joined by CyberCompass's CEO, Robert Phelps, and CMO, Kathleen Hadaway, as we discussed some of their successes and how CyberCompass has been adding value to their clients. I hope you enjoy.
Well, I'm Matt Peters, and the Customer First Communications, I'm the CEO. It's my company. I started in the business back in 1987, working for a company called Intertel. I had a 9-year stint with them. And then I moved over to another telephone company in Corona. And back when PRIs started becoming available to sell, they were called Super Trunks at the time, and data circuits, 1.5 meg data circuits, were going for a couple thousand a month. The company I was working for was just selling phone system, and I got the great idea of, selling those on a residual commission basis, and those were Paytech, and there were very few carriers that were doing it at the time. And, flash forward later on, that became data circuits and voice circuits became UCaaS, which is Unified Communications as a Service, your hosted phone system. Everything collided with all of the cybersecurity attacks and that were going on. So back in, 2016, 2015, I sold a few of cybersecurity devices. Andrew kind of jumped on board and started heavily marketing those devices. And, now we have north of 46 companies that are doing in some way, shape, or form security endpoint protection, consulting, and basically, are full on board with higher end cybersecurity products. Our market basically is aerospace, defense, and healthcare.
I have a shorter history. I've been doing this a little bit over 5 years. I kind of wear a lot of hats. I do sales, sales marketing, IT, things like that. Pretty much anything on the back end.
When I say cybersecurity, we really sell compliance. It all started, I'd done a few just because I had companies that had been attacked. And so I invited another company in, and so I had some under the belt. But there was a NIST 171 requirement for defense, and Andrew jumped on that and started marketing it, NIST 171, 181, and then the CMMC. So if we're selling compliance, it is an easier way to get in and to help a customer, because everybody wants to sleep a little bit better at night, right? That's the whole idea, is to do well, sleep at night, and make sure that your company's protected. What I like about you guys is you're holding hands to the customers from the beginning of the process to the end of the process, because most of these guys don't have enough time, energy, or money, and they certainly can't hire somebody just to do their security. They wear multiple hats. So it's not that they're lazy. They're absolutely not. They just don't have the time, and they have to fulfill the requirements.
For instance, cybersecurity, a lot of people just have I don't want to deal with it because it scares me too much. The fear of cybersecurity. Two, we run into also it's just too complex, too broad. Or they also, which we find more of like, if I just buy the latest, which you're into endpoint security and some basic technical, I'm good, I'm covered. And you're finding that that's not true. And how you educate your clients across that.
Actually, a lot of people are willing to have that initial security conversation. It's pricing after that. People want the security, but they don't really want to pay for it type deal. So then that's when they revert back to, hey, what we're currently doing, it's worked so far. We haven't been breached, so we're just going to keep doing what we're doing.
We're not really addressing it, actually, because if someone's buying product off the shelf, they're probably not a good fit. So those conversations don't last long. We turn and burn, that type of thing. The conversations go pretty quick. The companies we're after are the ones that have to, HIPAA compliance, CMMC compliance, NIST compliance. If they're not looking for something that in that market, and if they're not used to, this is going to be a few $1,000s a month, if not 2,000, 4,000 or 5,000 a month, the conversations don't last long, and we move on to the next. Most people are willing to spend a decent amount of money, not exorbitant, but a decent amount of money, knowing that they're going to be protected, knowing that they're not going to be held for ransomware, knowing that they're not going to be breached, knowing that information's not going to be stolen. Again, it's how are you sleeping at night? Robert, I'm not going to beg on you. It was that darn first appointment. It did not go over well, and it was like, my God, I'm not sure what we were doing, and I wasn't I didn't know your methodology, and you didn't know mine, and we certainly didn't know the customer, right? So a lot of that could have been prep on my part, but heck, I was stuck on stupid, right? So if we could have gone back, if we go back in time, and if that would have been 3 weeks later, it would have been different, because we didn't know what they wanted, and I'm not sure they knew what they wanted, but that certainly changed, and everything got really good after that. So I'd like a do-over on that one.
So I think you were right on your statement about it. It's just there was a big disconnect, and they didn't really know what they needed either, and we obviously didn't know what they were thinking. I mean, I was sort of thinking we need a package and we could do it at a corporate level, and she was like not interested. So. Yeah, live and learn.
Kind of the ease of use, but it's the fact that you're going to be working with them hand in hand. They'll be gathering the information, but you'll be the ones putting it all together, making sure that the compliances are all in order, and there's a timeline on everything. It's really the methodology that you're using is the term that I would use. You're starting with something that is tangible. You've done it for a long time. You guys know about compliances and how they work. You certainly know about the auditing and what's going to take place and how to work with the auditors. All of these kind of seem to take a sigh of relief away from the end user, knowing that, okay, now I have a partner in this.
Do you have any tips to offer any other companies wanting to offer CyberCompass cybersecurity solutions?
Well, the tips would be just make sure that you can find a client that's willing to have a conversation. Make sure that they have some sort of a compliance, because what you guys are doing, you're really becoming compliance officers. Is that a good way of saying it, Robert? Did I finally say a word that makes sense? You're the compliance officer, so they're hiring a compliance officer. They got to make sure that is what they want. Someone who's really going to walk them from point A to point B and every step, well, in between. I should have said point A to point Z and every step in between, right? But, the whole idea is to make the customer comfortable, to make sure that they're going to be able to comply in time, right? And to make sure that, they basically are knowing what they're doing and they're not having to spend all those hours of research. You've already done there. You've been there. You guys are experienced at it. It would be if I had a, legal problem, I'm probably going to hire a lawyer, right? I don't think I'm going to show up my first day in court by myself, but that would be me.